I was talking to the hot babies. How are the girls? Okay. Oh, it's been a long road, everybody. You know, I've been coming to Denver and playing shows since like the mid-fucking 90s. Wow. I remember the first time I played in Denver. We played with a band called Jimmy Eat World, remember? And we didn't know them yet, but it was funny. I remember like, I was trying to load my own gear into the fucking room, whatever this was downtown, and there's this giant car crash, and I turn around and the car's upside down and shit. You guys are bad drivers out there. It's fucking dangerous to rock in Denver. Do you guys know that when I first started playing guitar, the very first thing I did was try to call up the hot chicks at my junior high and fucking sing them love songs and shit. And it was before cell phones. Before fucking cell phones. I'm now one of those guys are fucking weird, right? And I would dial their number, and their dad would answer the fucking phone. And I'm sitting here on the other phone. I have like the guitar like this, and I got the phone. I'm holding it like this. I'm like, hi. He's like, hello. I'm like, hey, is your daughter there? I want to touch your daughter. Well, they would get on the phone, and I would say, hey, this is Tom. He would say, who? And I would say, hold on a second, baby. Yeah, these like early Bleed songs. Well, it never worked. It never worked. Well, I do remember there was this girl that I asked on a date. It was at Christmas. And I said, hey, I was like, just got my license, I was a sophomore in high school. And I asked her on a date. And she goes, oh, I'm sick. Really? Are you sick? And she says, I'm sick. Fuck. All right. So then that night, I dressed up like Santa Claus for like a family thing, where all the kids were there. And I thought, like a fucking asshole, I'll go down and buy flowers and I get well card for this sick girl in a fucking Santa outfit. So I drive to her house, dressed like a fucking prick. I knock on the door, and her dad came to the door, opens the door, and here I am skinny as fuck, dressed like Santa. He doesn't know me, he's like, yeah. And I said, is your so-and-so here? And he looks at me, he's like, she's out with her friends. So I said, that's fucking good, because these flowers are for you, motherfucker. I kissed her dad so hard. Kissed him for like 9 hours straight. Just kept kissing him. Stupid. The whole story's true until the kissing part. The fucking part was real. But these love songs started a band called Blink-182, yeah? So let's play a couple Blink songs. Are you into it? Are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot dream tonight. I need somebody always. Sick, strange darkness comes creeping on, so haunting every time. And as I stare, I count as I from all the spiders, catching things and eating their insides, like indecision to call you and hear your voice of treason. Will you come home and stop this pain tonight? And stop his pain tonight. Time to really challenge myself artistically. Right when Blink started getting really big, I was like, fuck, I wonder if I could do something pretty different, going back to my punk rock kind of post-hardcore roots and see what we can come up with. So somebody I grew up with, his name was David Kennedy, the man that stands here on guitar in Angels and Airwaves. We started a band together called Boxcar Racer. Here's a song from it, man. This vacation's useless, these white pills are kind. I get a lot of thought on this 13-hour drive. I miss the grinded concrete, we snap his tailor on, and slowly finish laughing in the glow of our headlights. I've given a lot of thought to the nights we used to have. The days have come and gone, our lives went by so fast. I vaguely remember breathing on your bedroom floor, where I laid and told you, but you wouldn't love me more. And do you care if I don't know what to say? Will you sleep tonight? Will you think of me? Will I shake this off? Pretend it's all okay. There's someone out there who feels just like me. That shit's romantic. You know, when I dressed up like Santa Claus, I wish I had that song for her dad. Let's sing that to her dad, that would be great. When we started Angels and Airwaves, we really wanted to do something full of hope and positivity, you know? Even when it wasn't fucking cool to be that way. You know what it's like to come out of a punk band? Oh, they changed the fucking banner. Thanks a lot, Jeff. I used to say love up there, and that was a hard thing to do, but hey, now everyone's hip to it. So we thought that, you know, maybe some way to get these kind of emotions through was to make, you know, movies and films. So I created this little production company called To The Stars. Thank you. And there was a few stories I wanted to tell, but there was this one particular story I wanted to tell. Because I knew that if I told it the correct way, we might all look at ourselves a little bit differently. We might start coming together as humanity. You know? You might have noticed a couple articles last week. I took a left turn from music, where my little production company turned into not just To The Stars, but To The Stars Academy of Arts and Science. I glued together a bunch of people that were very, very high-ranking officials, from the CIA to the DOD, to the OSD, to the Lockheed Martin, the Skunk Works, to the White House, to on and on and on. They all came over to try to get a few places to recognize something we really need to recognize. And it's starting to happen. So, in honor of all the years where I've been very, very misunderstood, and everyone thought I was crazy, the song's for them. Hey mom, there's something in the back room. Hope it's not the creatures from above. You used to read me stories as if my dreams were boring. We all know conspiracies are dumb. No, they're not. Not all night long. And there's something very wrong. And I know it must be late. I've been gone since yesterday.